Hello and welcome to muazo.co.uk. If you don't already know who I am, my name is Nitin, the founder of Muazo. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. If you are new to the channel, hello, welcome to Muazo. Don't forget to subscribe. Now, moving along, as the title of the video suggests, this is the beginning of a new series that I'm launching today, known as Whisky Wednesdays. Yes, I'm getting good at these names, aren't I? So Whisky Wednesdays is a lot like Fragrance Fridays. What we're going to do together is go through the process of discovering a whiskey, a spirit, or something that is currently available via the Muazo Distillery. Now this can be a rum, tequila, vodka, whiskey of any sort. We've got others, gin as well. All of these wonderful, highly curated spirits that you'll find on Muazo, and every Wednesday we'll go through the process of discovering it together, just like we do with Fragrance Fridays. We'll talk about kind of like how it makes me feel, the way it feels on my palate, and what I enjoy about it, and hopefully along those, in between, a few nuggets of information and hopefully some level of education along the way. And if you have any questions, as always, leave a comment below. If you agree, disagree, leave a comment below. Just keep things going. I don't mind if you disagree, but it's always nice to have a conversation, and I love hearing from you guys. So without further ado, we're taking a look at this bad boy. This is Port Askaig by Specialty Drinks, 100% proof, or 100 proof I should say. It's 57.1 ABV, which makes this 100 proof. And if you are not familiar with the notion of proofing, it's an old concept that still exists at the moment, but not really used very often. But any alcohol that is an ABV of approximately 57% automatically equates to 100 proof alcohol. So that's an old English way or a British way of measuring alcohol. Apparently they used to figure this out by pouring someone to gunpowder, lighting it, and then going, ooh, okay, that's burning at a particular flame or a particular rate and giving off a very interesting blue hue. That must be 57% alcohol. Good stuff. So that's how they've done it. Go away. I really encourage you to go and find out more about proofing. It's one of those kind of like dark arts where it's understood in some places in one way and then in some other places completely different. So in the UK, 57% ABV equates to 100 proof. Now, let's take a look at Port Askaig. I'm just going to give you a close-up of the bottle. I love this bottle, by the way. It's very simple, very pretty. I love it. I've poured myself a little serving, a little dram of this very, very peaty, very smoky whiskey. It's very pale to look at. And just in case you're wondering, this is a shot glass, or a tasting glass also, known as by Così Tablini. It's made from crystal and pewter, also available at Muazo, and I love using these little bad boys for sampling whiskey and or taking a nice shot of tequila, or vodka for that matter. Now, what I'm going to do is go through the process of going nose and then eventual taste. So on the nose, I mean, as soon as you pour it, you know it's peaty. Very smoky, very ashy, and if you are not familiar with peaty or what it stands for, essentially it's kind of like, it's the addition of a kind of like a smoky or ashy flavor, and that kind of like has a spectrum to it as well. So you can have like mild peat, let's say medium, if that comes across. It depends depending on your palate, but also very extreme. So if you like whiskey super smoky, super peaty, you can get that, something for every palate, or you can go in the other direction and have something very fruity, sweet and mild. That doesn't mean that you can't find a whiskey that is peaty and sweet and mild all at once, or fruity all at once. And I have to say, Port Askaig definitely falls into the realm of smoky, peaty, ashy, fruity, sweet, all that kind of wonderful stuff. It's not a very colourful liquid. It is very pale, as opposed to being strong or, you know, amber, you could say. It's very pale, a pale yellow. Not much more to say about the colour. It's a nice colour, it's simple. And on the nose, it's ashy, it's peaty. It's almost like smoked bacon. It's got this kind of like saltiness to it too. It's just like a salt beach. Actually, it's like having a barbecue on the seaside. You can taste that saltiness, you can pick out that sweetness, while at the same time just being, your senses being kind of like enveloped with this smoke, coal, ash kind of feeling. It's so nice. And for some, it could be too smoky. It could be very smoky on the nose, and that might put you off. But I have to say, is that don't judge the whiskey by its nose. Let's take this one step further and have a taste. All right. That almost took my breath away, and not in a bad way. That packs a punch. Huge amounts of flavor there. Very smoky, obviously, we already know that. It is definitely like smoked bacon. And I wouldn't say like, oh, it's smoked bacon, but that's what it's almost familiar. It's almost like ham, like bacon. It's very salty, very tasty, bags of flavor, but then at the same time, it's sweet, fruity, which always surprises me when I have this. And I remember when I first came across this particular Port Askaig 100 proof, and it was given to me by a friend, and it was basically, I'll surprise you, Nitin. And I was like, oh gosh, no, I don't want to, even though I like surprises, you know, I want to have a good whiskey, please don't come back with something rubbish. And they were like, smell this, you're gonna love this. And I was like, oh, it smells really peaty, ooh. And they was like, you know, just give it a go. And I tell you what, if Muazo stands for one thing, it's always be happy to give it a go, discover something new. And I was so glad I followed my own advice, because this was a revelation. So it's undiluted, room temperature, it's sweet, it's warm, it's not overbearing, although you might smell like you've smoked a packet of cigarettes or had a really good cigar, because that smokiness really lingers. It's there, you can feel it on the intake, but it's not overbearing. It's to you, to me at least. It might be overbearing to someone else if they were close enough, but it's almost addictive. It's very, very tasty. It's not kind of like astringent. It doesn't take your breath away like some whiskies may when you first try them, especially when they're on the peaty side. This is fun. This is tasty. This is naughty but serious. You know, if you were to give this to someone, they're like, hey, you know your stuff. I believe that, I really do, because when I've given this to friends and family, and they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. What is this random bottle you've pulled out? I bet it's going to be rubbish. But I have converted so many humans to PT whiskies by introducing them to Port Askaig 100 proof. It's one of those whiskies and brands where they're a little bit left field, You may not have heard of them, but bloody hell, they do things really well. And if you don't know much about Port Askaig, by the way, it's a port in Islay. It doesn't actually have a distillery of its own. It's just named after the distillery. Now, the guys at Specialty Drinks who put this together, as far as I understand, they scour the country, the world, looking for casks and or already matured whiskies to either blend into their own or marry various whiskies, or to kind of create their own, have their own creations, or they go around sourcing casks to put their own alcohol in to create their own whiskies and flavors. And I have to say, they've done a bloody good job with this one. It's very tasty, very fruity, almost tropical fruits. You've got hints of mango. Well, to me it's mango, pineapple. Mango, pineapple and bacon. That's a strange combination, but that's exactly where I think it's going if you were to break it down. This Whisky Wednesday isn't meant to be a technical take on things, so if you're a sommelier, don't beat me up for this. This is about enjoying the whiskey and discovering something new, especially if you haven't tried this before. It's something for your consideration. I really like that. I like that as it is. That's neat, it's drinkable, it's enjoyable. You could have maybe 2 glasses of that and absolutely have a wonderful evening. However, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some water to this bad boy. And I'm going to see how the water will change the flavor profile of Port Askaig 100 proof. Now, if you're not familiar with what happens when you add water to alcohol, it's basically the minerals in the water, minerals in the alcohol. Some are water soluble, some aren't. And just like when you add oil to water, some kind of like will latch onto the water soluble ones, and go, hey, break down and go, we're great together. And some will go like, oh my God, water, and run in the opposite direction. It kind of causes separation. And now what this equates to is a slight change or slight deviation from the flavor profile. You'll get some flavors that will kind of like make themselves known and be a bit more pronounced, and you get some flavors that will kind of like go into the back and come out later. So I hope that makes sense. But what I'm going to do now is add, and I'm going to exaggerate a little bit here just for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to add quite a bit of water. If I were you, I would start with a little bit and then work your way up to see where the kind of flavor profile you're comfortable, or where the amount of water meets the alcohol kind of suits your needs or suits your palate. So I'm going to add a little bit, quite a little bit, quite a lot, but not a little bit. There we go. I'm not sure if you can see that, but that is having a kind of like oil effect. It's separating. Can you see that? A nice big fingerprint on that, but there it is. So now it's on the nose coming across much sweeter, much sweeter. Smoke is there, but on the nose immediately it's sweet. Okay, goes down much easier. The sweetness has come through. It's almost like sugar. It has come through a lot. It's very sweet, but on the finish, very smooth and very smoky. So the smoke really never goes away, which is good because that's a strong characteristic that we want to keep. That's the reason we're, drinking this. Let's see what else is there. Yeah, it's definitely become smoother. Smoother and sweeter, definitely. But the smoky bacon kind of flavor profile is there, and it's, for some, I think this would be a lot more manageable. I think you would enjoy this with a little bit of water. Okay, what I'm gonna do, one last thing, is I'm gonna add some super cold water from some ice that I melted earlier, and see what kind of like what the change in water temperature will do. Wow. I know this is a highly diluted serving of Port Askaig, so don't beat me up for it. I know I am exaggerating this for the purposes of the demonstration, but again, the smokiness has gone down, but that cool feeling. So if you were to add a block of ice, that temperature drop really has made this. Yeah, it just makes it a lot sweeter, but the smoke is still there. The smoke really stays, and I like that. I really do, because I wouldn't be drinking it if it wasn't for the smokiness. Now, I'm not going to say any more. I think I've said enough. This is definitely a bottle that's in my top 10 whiskies of all time. I love it. I like it because it's something that's not necessarily readily available. It's almost a private bottling, so it's bottled by a private organization who go out of their way to obtain and produce whiskey, high quality whiskey. And I like that. I love that idea. And it's a conversation piece. You can start a great conversation with this. You can introduce Port Askaig to people who have tried PT whiskey before but not enjoyed it, or have never tried it before and it will completely blow their socks off. So this is a great bottle. I encourage everyone to have a bottle of Port Askaig 100 proof in their collection. Now, if you have tried this and you completely disagree with me, or you agree with me, or you're more curious and have questions, leave a comment below. It'd be really good to have a conversation with you guys and kind of like get our opinions across and see what you think of Port Askaig. Also, I'll leave links below to everything that you've seen in the video. Port Askaig and the Così Tabellini shot glass or tasting glass are both available at Muazo, free delivery in the UK. It only goes, the last thing for me to say is, please don't forget to subscribe. It means the world to me. It really makes a big difference. It just means that I am putting out content that you enjoy. I'm putting out content that you find value in. And whenever you subscribe, whenever that number go up, it gives me a little fuzzy feeling inside. It just makes me feel as if I should be producing more content. And like most subscribers who communicate and leave comments on our other videos, you know that I'm really happy to respond and have a conversation with you. So hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, get in touch, grab yourself a bottle, have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed the first of many Whisky Wednesdays, and I'll see you again. Bye bye.